Yo, peace to the God's reflection. All right, today, as you see, we got another one for the Eligios. We got True You and Epi-Genetics, right? The other download I did, I hope you all seen it. It was on astrology, right? We made astrology simple. We broke it down so that you can simply understand it. Showed you how to go get your birth report. Showed you how to interpret it. So I hope you've been studying your chart. But now we're gonna take it a little step further. We gotta upgrade. As computers, we like the iPhone and the MacBook, they go through software updates. Human beings go through software updates. So throughout the journey, the knowledge has been upgraded. So Chief figured out and discovered that the houses, and through the study of biology, it proves us that, right? Because epigenetics is biology, astrology and epigenetics, biology and astrology go hand in hand, as we know. But he discovered that the houses in astrology were more important than the signs. Everybody think that, oh, I'm a Cancer, I'm an Aries. Yeah, you are that sign, but that sign is placed in a certain house, and that house carries a certain vibration that we about to explain and break down in this video today. All right, so for the Eligio, True You and Epi-Genetics, all right, by Master Jax. Now, what is True You astrology? I kind of just gave you a briefing of it. True You uses house systems, right? The houses in astrology go from 1 through 12, from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, all the way to Pisces, which is the 12th sign. Now, when it comes to True You astrology, the houses act dominantly over the planetary placement. I just told y'all how the environment controls your perception and your genetic expression in biology. Now, in astrology, the houses are dominating the planets and the sign that the placement is in. For example, the first house in astrology, which is represented by Aries, it dominates the self, right? The first house rules Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So that is the self. So that house inside of your astrological program is going to dominate the self, the ego. The second house is going to be dominated concretely, right? Second house is Taurus. Taurus like stability, security. So concrete is going to be dominated practically. So wherever the second house, say if you had a sun in second house, where you're going to be more of a Taurus, and you're going to be more ruled by a practical nature, because that is the nature of the environment of the second house. Third house is going to be dominant communicatively. And fourth house, which is Cancer, is going to be more dominant when it comes to protection and nurturing. So these are how the houses are going to be ruled in certain positions. So your houses provide arenas for the planetary energy to be experienced. The sign, the placement, wherever that sun or that moon is at, the sign that is in, the houses provide an arena or environment for it to play its energy out in. Now, we went on ChatGPT. I asked her what a house represented. She said in astrology, a house represents a specific area of life, such as relationships, career, or personal growth. Each of the 12 houses governs different aspects of your experiences and how planetary energies manifest in those areas. Now, I said an area would encompass a specified environment, correct? She says, yes, an area can encompass a specified environment. In this context, both the terms describe and define space, though. An arena is simply an environment. An environment is an arena. An environment is a home. An environment is a house. You see what I'm saying? So, epigenetics and astrology, it ties right back into this law. It's always going to go back into the universal principles, because everything is bound by these principles. You can't go or act out of these laws. Everything is governed by universal law, like she teaches. And the law of correspondence states, as above, so below. That is what's taking place in the stars are being beamed on Earth biologically. Now, we are cells, and in the centerpiece of every cell, of all the 50 trillions inside of your body, lies DNA, right? It contains DNA. Now, like she teaches, DNA is the mind. It is the blueprint of you. Everything that you are is programmed inside of your DNA, from how you move, how you think, how you feel, how you talk, how you walk. Everything is programmed. All that genetic makeup is inside the DNA, inside of your mind. So with DNA being your mind, then we have to examine how the mind is being ruled, how the DNA is being ruled. And right here, I have a video of Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a front runner for the subject inside of biology called epigenetics. Now, DNA being the mind, I want to show you how the mind is being programmed and how your environment plays an important role in how you express your astrological energies. Because as above, so below. What's happening in the mind is happening in your reality. So whatever the mind is programmed to, you will project into your reality. And I want to show you this because this is very important. Right here, he's going to explain to us what a central dogma is. I don't want to do too much biology right now, but I got to show you all this right now. So here's the video.
Central dogma. It is like the 10 commandments of biology. It says that you are proteins. You're the protein. But where do you come from? And the information flows in one direction, from DNA to RNA to protein, which is you. So your fate and your structure is programmed in the DNA. The concept of the central dogma is what I taught in the medical school. And I did not know the meaning of the word dogma until I left the university. And the definition of dogma is a belief based on religious persuasion and not scientific fact. So for 20 years, I was teaching religion in medical school. The other name for central dogma is the primacy of DNA. And primacy means first cause.
Now, as you see, he just showed us the central dogma, or what is also known as the primacy of DNA. This is a biological concept that's showing us how our DNA or how our mind is being regulated. Now, the primacy of DNA or the central dogma was a concept that medical professionals was teaching their medical teachers and students. And this is what we learned as children in elementary school, middle school, high school, wherever you went to school on whatever level. They were teaching us a central dogma, and they're doing it still to this day. They were teaching us that, because remember, you're a cell. The centerpiece of the cell is DNA. That is the makeup of you. Amino acids make proteins. Proteins make cells. Cells make tissues. Tissues go on to make organs and organ systems and organisms. So inside of your DNA, they was telling us that the controlling mechanism went from DNA to the RNA to the protein. So from the mind to how you think to your physical expression, because proteins are building blocks of life. They make cells. And the RNA is a partial code or a partial copy of DNA, which is a gene, which is how you think. The mind, thought, expression. So they was telling us that our mind, which is the DNA, was being, right? Our thoughts was being ruled by our DNA. Our genetics was being ruled by our DNA. How we think was being ruled by just our mind. And that caused our expression. But we were taught DNA or our genes regulate proteins, or what we are victims of our heredity. This is what they're teaching us. They are teaching us that we're victims of our heritage, right? They're teaching us that we're not in control of how we think. We're not in control of how we perceive life. We're not in control of anything. We're powerless, and we're rendered susceptible to anything that's going on in our environment. The central dogma, if you go look it up, it's a belief based in religious persuasion and not scientific facts. You heard what he said. He was teaching religion in medical school for 20 years. How? And we all know that the religion is corrupt. Religion is corrupt. It's not based in anything. It's based in lies. It's deceptive. So they got medical professionals, your doctors, all of these people teaching us that we are not in control of what's going on with our psychology and our biology. And that is a part of your environment. That's why I wanted to point this out, because the people that teach you, the people that you learn from are entities, they're entities or aspects of you that are a part of your environment that's programming you, whether you know it or not, unconsciously or consciously. Now we know that DNA is the mind. We know that in true astrology, the houses are more important. So what we're about to do here, remember, a house or a home is an environment. It is an arena. So what we're about to do here is we're about to break down how important the houses is in astrology. And I'm going to show you through biology as well on how that's possible. So what we have here is the methylation process. The methylation process is a process in which nature is a control in. And it's a selection process which determines whether or not a gene, remember, genes are thoughts of the DNA, aspects of the mind. Whether or not a gene or a thought will be activated or silenced, and is based upon how the mother and father are experiencing life environment prior to the maturity of their respective sperm and egg cell. So when you was in a womb of your mother and your father, which is you, whatever they were going through before their sperm and egg cell matured, whatever their environment was programming them to do and whatever they was being programmed to believe, that's the genetic makeup that has been turned on and activated within you. And this is how you are perceiving reality, and this is what your expression is based upon. You see what I'm saying? So this is very important for you to know. The environment controls and rules and regulates the environment. That's what epigenetics is about. You see? Epigenetics, the study of how environment controls and regulates perception and genetic expression. Your environment is controlling everything. The house, the home that you live in. Nature is your house. Nature is your home. You live within your own mind, which is the mind of God, DNA. And it's being programmed through what you put in your 5 senses. You feel me? Your environment is very important. DNA is the mind, and your genes are your thoughts, which is analogous to your astrological program. It's your environment that controls your thoughts and behaviors.
My research, early research.
Now right here, Bruce Lipton about to show you how important environment is, how important the houses are in astrology. You should be focused on understanding the houses in and out, because this is who you are. If you got a sun sign in Cancer in the 5th house, you're really a Leo.
I have a tissue culture with multi-potential stem cells. These are clones, meaning they're all genetically identical. In my experiment, I take a group of cells, so I take this group of cells and put it into another petri dish with a different environment, environment A. And environment A, the conditions of the medium, the stem cells form muscle. But I could go back and take the very same genetically identical cells and put them into culture dish with environment B, and the cells form bone. Or I could go and take the very same cells and put them in culture dish C with a different environment, and the cells form fat. What controls the fate of the cell? The environment. They were genetically identical, only the environment was different.
That's it. All human beings, we are all the same. We are all cells living inside the body of God. We are all genetically programmed the same because we're genetically the same because we come from the DNA, from the mind of God. But we are all different pieces of that oneness. We're all different pieces of the sun, vibrating on a different frequency of itself. And that is your specific astrological program. And in that program, the houses is what's ruling your energies. So make sure you go study your houses. True You Astrology. Your astrological program or your DNA is the program being used to perceive your reality. And based on the environment you're placed in, that will determine how those energies or genetics or thoughts are expressed. Now, this is the age of empowerment, right? The golden age, the age of Aquarius, right? The information age. You can gain knowledge yourself. KOC, knowledge yourself. Knowing thyself, who you are as a cell made up of 50 trillions of other cells. And through controlling your environment, through knowing that as a cell, because a cell can only vibrate as high as its environment or the home that it's in, the house that it's in, and studying your natal chart, especially the houses, because that's who you truly are, that's your true you, you can allow God in his highest form to come through you, right? Because you are God. You are a piece of God, vibrating on your astrological energy's frequency, all right? So that's what true you is, and I wanted to tie that in with epigenetics to show you how important the houses is, or environments is, when it comes to energies and when it comes to you expressing yourself, all right? So that's it, y'all. Remember, the kingdom of God is divine knowledge itself, all right? Free God, three God, man. reflected light. I love myself.